Hello and welcome to this special edition of the Global Dialogues. I'm Shireen Bhan. We're coming to you from the Embassy of Sweden. As we have traditionally done over the last several years, we have brought together CEOs from India and Sweden. And this time we're talking not just about Make in India from a manufacturing point of view, but we're talking about the AI roadmap, the potential areas of convergence, partnership, opportunities for both countries to work together. We've got a packed table here of CEOs and government officials who will talk us through the opportunities, the priorities on both sides. Let me bring the first comment in from Sanjeev Sharma at ABB. Sanjeev, I'm going to request you to take the microphone there from Cecilia. The Secretary was talking about the long association that Swedish companies have had in India, and yours goes back decades now. So Sanjeev, I want to understand from you, as you look at the opportunities in a digital world, with the digital future that you are focusing on, what have been the changes that you've been able to make within ABB? And more importantly, what are the points of convergence that you see as we move further down this road of smart manufacturing with productivity and competitiveness at the heart of it?
Thank you, Shireen. Good to be here. This year, ABB is celebrating 140th year in Sweden. And in India, we are celebrating 74th year of manufacturing. So we are manufacturing all the ABB products that we do globally. They're done here locally. And they're really deeply committed with respect to whatever technology is required by India. Now, when it comes to our journey, as it was mentioned by other speakers prior to that, it's always about you go through one cycle of technology to the other, whether it's Industry 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. You always get new tools along the way. And AI is a tool which is converging because a lot of new technologies have been deployed, and now you can take benefit of it. As in ABB, we are taking benefit of it in three areas. One is in our own manufacturing space here in India, wherein we have deployed a lot of automation in our manufacturing space, which creates a lot of data. And when you create a lot of data, then it's possible to do machine learning and apply the AI on top of it. Same thing we are applying in our supply chain, whether it comes to the forecasting as well as inventory management. That's another area we are looking at. And then, of course, all the products that we develop, there are a lot of products we are developing for our customers so that they become more AI-enabled on top of what we deliver to them.
Mats, let me address the issue with you as well. From the defense sector's perspective, what do you see as the opportunities? Saab has, of course, been operating here in India as well for a long time. The emphasis from the government of India on defense is now indigenized procurement. So that perhaps leaves little room for players like yours. But on the digital side and on the AI side, what is it that you hope to leverage?
Yeah, we have worked with this for quite a few years at Saab, and I mean, we use it on a day-to-day basis in automating our own processes and getting those more effective and whatnot. The other area where we are working heavily right now is to also increase the performance by using AI technology in our existing products. And that we are doing continuous upgrades of what we are providing to our customers, and it could be decision support to pilots, it's AI-based maintenance schedules and those kind of technologies where we, by the usage of things, learn or can machine learn how to make it in a more efficient way. The other area, or the third area, is of course in new types of products where it's integrated already from the start. And that is especially related to unmanned systems, automatic analysis of data fusion, and those kind of things where you can really gain time and speed, or time and speed, and time is speed, to get it more efficient than it is currently.
What is the kind of investment that you're making today? Do you see the quantum of investment on AI going up significantly over the next few years?
Well, I see it increasing, but it's a part of our normal investment into new, because it's a new technology that we have at hand that we use for our products going forward.
Let's address the regulation issue, because a lot of that will also decide the course of how AI is adopted and the way that the world moves on the AI roadmap. Secretary, let me start by asking you, what we have seen globally, and I think everyone is grappling with this. In the US, we saw tech companies at Capitol Hill discuss the future as far as the AI regulation is concerned. What's the view here in India? How do you propose we proceed with this? The need to balance innovation, not stifle innovation and creativity, but at the same time put enough guardrails in place to mitigate the risks associated.
I think India has been fairly clear in the kind of roadmap that we wish to pursue on this. The principle has been responsible AI for all, and a kind of approach document was brought out. 2 or 3 parts of it have already been brought out. They've been out there for public consultation. People have been speaking about it. We realize that you have to balance both ends of this. We also realize that there are major risks. The State Secretary also already pointed out the risk of deep fakes. We are running into those issues. You have to combat this by using more technology, by figuring out ways in which you can identify this quickly, eliminate them quickly. So the technology needs to be applied to respond to these challenges immediately. And I think we have to realize that you have to allow greater play for legitimate players, people who bring in legitimacy to what needs to happen, trusted players. And that is a process that can be done only by engaging all the stakeholders in the process. And that's what India has been attempting to. India is the incoming chair of the Global Partnership on AI. The GPA summit is to be held in December here in Delhi, and we expect a far greater interaction to happen on that occasion, and we should be able to set our roadmap much more clearly on how responsible AI will really take shape.
Debjani, let me come to you now on exactly that point. When we talk about stakeholders sort of having these conversations, collaborating with different regulators, with the government, one of the fears is that it shouldn't just be left to big tech to design regulation. In fact, big tech should have less of a say as far as the design of regulation is concerned. At NASSCOM, what's the view on being able to design a comprehensive policy, comprehensive regulations? And more importantly, from an India perspective, in the immediate term, what's the kind of unlocking of value that you see on account of AI?
Thanks, Shireen. So 3 points. First, I think everyone talked about balance, but a lot of the Western world especially is today looking at balance from the lens of fear. And I think that has to change. The potential, think about drug discovery. Think about how AI can absolutely disrupt drug discovery and significantly accelerate time to discovery. Think about one of the biggest challenges facing most Western countries, including even China, which is aging population, and therefore labor force is coming down, productivity as a result is coming down, there is tremendous growth crisis. AI there becomes a matter of survival. You have to bring in the intelligence layer, you have to bring in the productivity layer in order to get the growth back. So we have to look at it from the lens of potential, while of course the risks are, they're pretty evident and they are concerning, but we can't let the fear get the better of us. That's frankly the NASSCOM point of view. Second, when you look at the risks, AI is not creating any new behavior. AI is amplifying our ability to do good or to do bad significantly. It can amplify our ability to do good, whether in healthcare or manufacturing or whatever have you, exponentially. It can also amplify our ability to do harm, whether it is fake news or whatever, exponentially, right? So when you think about regulation, our belief is you don't need new laws. because there is no new behavior. It is old behavior, but getting amplified significantly. What you need to do is look at existing legal framework, regulatory framework, and stress test it for AI use cases, to see where does it break. And the third part of it is, we can talk about regulation all we want. AI has zero respect for national boundaries.
Yes.
Okay? So tomorrow, our regulation can become somebody else's competitive advantage if they say, okay, so this country is going to start whatever, XYZ, they're going to stop your ability to develop models. We're going to say every company is a global company today. They're going to say, okay, we're going to pack our bags and go and do this in India. Okay, or wherever.
Professor Mawsam, let me come to you because you represent the world of academia here on this panel, and it's great to have your perspective in on this as well. As somebody who started the AI Center at IIT Delhi, we're talking about talent, we're talking about disruption, we're talking about innovation. What are the pillars that you believe this table needs to look at?
Well, I think the pillars were very aptly identified by Mr. Krishnan, but I just want, which are the infrastructure layer, the talent pool layer, the data layer. I think those are the standard pillars, and also the ethics layer, which Debjani has also spoken about. But I do want to stress the importance of the talent pool layer, which somehow gets sort of sidelined in some of these conversations. Because, data is very important. Person who has the data has the competitive advantage. The infrastructure is very important. But we sort of believe that, any standard talent pool will work, but it actually does not. I think the number of people which each country should have, which are really advanced and have a deep understanding of the AI technology, is relatively small for both these countries, I believe, given their sizes. I think a lot of the real amazing talent is in the US, in China, in Israel, in some other countries, but India has to do better. I think Sweden also has to do better. And there, I'll explain why I say this, because who is going to teach, who is going to do the capacity building? The professors are going to do the capacity building. You create a startup, and at some point you are stuck somewhere in the AI, your AI is not moving forward. Who is going to take you off that local optimum? Somebody who understands these technologies deeply. Who is going to do the next level of innovation? Somebody who understands these technologies deeply. So I think academia has a super important role to play in getting all of that ecosystem going. Once there is that ecosystem, then natural progress will happen, and it will happen at a pace that we don't need to control. But I think the start has to happen with a lot of capacity. I also want to say one other point about what Debjani said very beautifully. We often say that AI should be ethical. I want to clarify, AI use should be ethical.
Yes.
And that is the point she made in beautiful words, that AI can be developed in any country, any kind of regulation on AI is not going to work out. But where it should be used in a given context, in a given domain, in a given country, that is where regulation has an important role to play. And that is where existing regulation also will benefit.
I think you make a very valid point, and let's address the talent issue, because I think that is going to be one of the crucial issues to talk about as well. Mr. Mishra, let me get the microphone across to you, and let's address that from your own experience of what you've been able to do at Doc Online. This capacity building, this ecosystem that Professor Mawsam was speaking of, what do you think it will take? One, of course, is the financial aspect of it, of whether it's R&D spends and so on and so forth. But how do you go about actually creating the ecosystem that will deliver on the promise and the potential that everyone here is talking about?
I think it's a great question, because that is a significant challenge. I mean, we've decided in our company, with our focus is on primary healthcare, to work in two areas of artificial intelligence. One is to understand data, because a lot of the health data in India is not in machine-readable formats. And we want to use AI technology to be able to get our own data in a way that we can machine read it and we can make sense of it. The other one is also assisting our doctors. The doctors, during a conversation, can AI transcribe, can AI pick up the clinical cues, help the doctor to quickly populate his notes. And one of the struggles that we have is to hire engineers, is to hire software professionals who really understand this and to try it out. So we do have a couple of people who are beginning to understand, but it is a hit and miss, because these are not people who are trained in any particular way on artificial intelligence. They're just smart, young IT professionals who say, okay, I'm going to take a crack at it, or let me see what AWS can do for me, or let me see what Google can do. And they're not really domain specialists. And frankly, we haven't been able to hire any in the market.
Mr. Subramanian, let me address the issue of used cases and what we need to focus on from both an India and a Sweden perspective. And, you know, at least as far as India is concerned, some of the big access deficits that we're faced with, we just talked about health as being one of them, education is another area. Where do you believe we need to focus our attention, both public as well as the private sector?
Thank you. As an institute, what we do, we are a not-for-profit organization that is funded by various governments. And we provide AI services which addresses the needs of the underserved in India. We have got over 30 projects in education, healthcare, and in agriculture. It's very interesting because one of the ways we have approached this is using the fundamentals of how you learn a market and how you succeed in a market, which means you have to be embedded in it. There's a lot of talk about bias in AI. I would argue that the bias starts with the analysis in the human mind. And if we can control our ability to ensure that we are ethical, unbiased, sincere, and depend on our cognitive abilities to see what is there. One of the great challenges we have in AI is to set aside some of our learnings completely, because our learnings tend to bias us as well. We have deep beliefs, and once you have a belief, you will look for data that obviously supports that belief. It's exactly the other way around. The day you decide that I will see things for what they are, and you understand that in order for releasing anything into production, you should have a commitment to do a few things in AI. Because AI is going to see very small data before it goes out there, you have to be very humble in your approach. You have to realize that your solution will never be complete when you release it. You have to continuously iterate. You have to address the needs of individuals who have not held a smartphone in their life. You have to understand the needs at a human level. That's what we stand for. When you work in the social space, we have a fascinating discovery of matching human needs with the highest advances of technology. And the only way you can be successful is by embodying a human sense of ethics in the way you approach it. It's very easy going wrong in that. And it's very easy blaming a whole host of other things except ourselves.
No, you're right, but I'm going to try and bring this back to what we are seeing happen as far as specific companies are concerned. And Kamal, let me ask you about what we're seeing happen at the Volvo Group. If we can get the microphone across to you. You know, the kind of investments that you're making, the use cases that you're seeing at this point in time, and what you believe is likely to be the roadmap for the next 3 to 5 years.
Thank you, Shireen. I think when it comes to our industry, especially the trucking industry, I think AI is a big boon, I would say, because I think if I look at the challenges our industry faces, globally the efficiency of trucking is less than 50%, which means 50% of the time a truck is moving air. It is not moving cargo. So that's a huge challenge. So with AI, companies have the gumption to aspire to say that we can reach 90% efficiency, which means that whether it is route planning, load optimization, load aggregation, I think a huge problem can be solved, and this is running into billions and billions of dollars of savings for the world. So I think that's one, efficiency. When it comes to India itself, I think the whole trucking, I mean, our cost, our logistics cost is almost 14-15% of GDP. We can help, I think, a lot of AI tools along with sensors and other perception equipment can be clubbed to really do that. But then I can go on and on. There are, whether it is in manufacturing, the robotic process automation we can bring in driver coaching. A lot of stuff is happening, and this is for real. I mean, at Volvo Group, we are doing all of this, and we believe that that's going to be the way forward. It is there, and you will see on the Indian roads, a lot of these features are coming in. And of course, we are also talking of safety, 100% safer, 100% more productive, 100% fossil free. So I think, to my mind, that's going to be the way forward in our automotive industry, and particularly the trucking industry.
Well, that's good to hear. Sujata and Arun, I'm going to come to you now. Sujata, I'll start by asking you, just to pick up on what we heard there from Kamal, and there are many estimates, and I'm just going to bring to your attention an estimate from PwC, which talks about 15.7 trillion as being the potential contribution to the global economy by 2030 from AI, and up to 26% boost in GDP for local economies from AI by 2030. So, Sujata, explain to me how you see things, and at a practical, tangible level, what you're seeing change specifically for you.
We see a very good opportunity in this. At Mantus global level, we have set up a very big strategy goal for ourselves for AI. And what we are looking at, that not only it can help us to increase our predictive maintenance setups, how we can predict them, because we are more into the manufacturing. And in that case, what happens, suddenly a machine stops, and then whatever jobs you're doing, there's a huge loss to the productivity. So that could be overcome. So that is in our goals. We have already started using AI in our quality products, reviewing the quality of product manufacturing. And it's been very useful for saving the cost, because when you are working in a production line, checking the quality by human eye is lesser efficient than an AI setup. And I completely agree with Mr. Mausam on the point that how do we look at how people are going to use this AI technology. So in our strategic goals, we are also setting up various talent review programs where our own workforce could be given training to use the AI setups which will be utilized and developed by our R&D to bring it. So in short, I would say we look forward that by using AI processes in our manufacturing, we will be increasing the revenues, and it will be a solution providing a setup for our products to the customer because we are adding a value to it.
Nitin, very quickly, what are you going to be focusing on?
We are a technology company, and what we're seeing in the industry is that there is a lot of interest in AI. It does help in customer experience because you're getting all this data and analyzing it and giving the right offers and the right promotions and, building customer loyalty. At the same time, I'll just point out a bit of on the risk side. We've heard AI is good, but I believe that on the risk side, I think Mr. Krishnan put it very aptly.
AI is still good. AI use is questionable.
No,
I think we've established that now.
Not the use, but the fact that we have, the Project Bhashni, I think we didn't talk about that, which is very important because, you see, we deal with the billions of people in India, and that becomes very important. I think we talked about skill gap. There are a lot of organizations that want to do AI, but there is a challenge on using it aptly and creating that potential. And the last one, on the data privacy, which we picked on, and I'm glad that India came out with this, personal data protection bill, which ensures that it's used ethically.
Thank you very much for joining us here on this special edition of the Global Dialogue here from the Swedish Embassy as part of the Nobel Memorial Week. From all of us here on the team, goodbye. Many thanks for watching. We'll see you again shortly. Stay tuned to CNBC TV 18.